What is autosuggestion and how does it work? I'd heard the term autosuggestion by reading the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Now in that, Hill describes this process. And by the way, I have the book here. Usually it sits right over my shoulder for a quick reference because it is that powerful. Napoleon Hill suggests that autosuggestion is the only known method by which we can influence the subconscious mind and to induce the process of faith, to increase faith. He goes on to say that faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. Two very important concepts here. In fact, these chapters are back to back in the book Think and Grow Rich. When it comes to autosuggestion, knowing that this is the only known method by which we can induce faith. What is faith? It's belief. It's the process of a deep belief system that something is happening, coming about. You believe that you are, you believe that it's happening, you believe that this is something that you're worthy of. You can see it in your mind's eye before it comes about. Deep faith. And it doesn't require that you can knock on wood because you know. It's a deep knowing and it's an understanding that that which is asked for is received. And you are simply waiting for it to allow and receive it and experience it in your physical world. So the subconscious mind can be looked at as a fertile garden within which weeds will grow if you neglect it, or positive things can happen in your life if you sow the seeds of that fertile garden. How do you do that? You do that by a process of affirming. Affirmations and autosuggestions, these are synonymous. And what I've taught my coaching clients, I'm sharing here with you now, is that whenever you have a mind that's open to the outside world, you are allowing your thoughts to become emotionally involved. You become emotionally involved in the wrong ideas. You are now sowing the seeds and you're letting weeds grow in your fertile garden. So how do you stop that? How do you stop that? Not only is this a process of pivoting, but it's also a process of getting more of what you want by playing a perfectly good trick on your subconscious mind. The reason is because our subconscious minds do not know the difference between reality and imagined reality. And so this is why it's so important to enact auto-suggestion or affirmations in alignment with what you are intending to create. And so there's two ways to enact deep change in an individual. One is through a deep emotional impact, and the second one is through constant spaced repetition. Constant spaced repetition. Tap, 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 over and over and over again. How do those ideas get there to begin with? Mostly, it was through genetic programming and environmental programming. The first 7 years, our minds were wide open. Our subconscious minds were downloading from our environment. Ideas, concepts, beliefs, all through the radio, the news, the conversation from your parents, well-meaning. And yet, if they're not in alignment with what you're going towards right now, those are disempowering paradigms and they're holding you back. So we have to unravel that and remove those using the same process that was used to get them there in the first place. Constant spaced repetition. 7 years is a long time. Fortunately, it doesn't take 7 years to remove old paradigms, and it's something that I teach in my coaching program on how to do that in a very short and powerful timeline. So constant spaced repetition. And what you do here is you grab an affirmation. You start by writing one down. And so I encourage my coaching clients, and I'm going to encourage you now to write down an affirmation, something in the present tense that is in alignment with what you want. Now, you can do this two ways. One can be in the process of goal setting, where you're saying, this is the goal I want, and I'm going to do an affirmation for that. And you always start it in the present tense. And I like to start off by saying, and Bob Proctor, my mentor here, that I like to keep around my left shoulder when I'm doing these videos, is I am so happy and grateful now that. I am so happy and grateful now that. It's in the present tense. It doesn't push this thing up in the future. The reason why is because our subconscious mind needs to adopt the idea that this is done. It is done now. It's not later. It's not maybe. It's I am so happy and grateful now that. And you put the affirmation in there. It could be anything at all. It could be I am a top salesperson. I am helping X amount of people. Or if you're in real estate, I'm a top agent helping 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 people a year, whatever that goal is. And the emotions behind it would follow that affirmation. I love knowing that I'm helping people. I love knowing that I make a difference. I love knowing that I'm having an impact. I appreciate the idea that I've been given very special and unique gifts, and I get to express those to clients. I love to put myself out into the marketplace. I love knowing that I'm bringing value. I love knowing, if you're in sales, by the way, that my compensation is always in direct proportion to the amount of value that I render, that I provide to the marketplace. I bring a lot of value. I know that. I love knowing that I have unique gifts locked deep within me, and I'm expressing those gifts in the world today. Over and over again, reaching for those emotions, reaching for the better feeling. And as you do that, you are enacting change within yourself. And what happens after a period of time is you will begin to reprogram your subconscious mind. It'll begin to deliver to you flashes, inspiration, ideas. And as Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, sometimes these come to you as flashes. Or you'll have an idea, you'll have a moment or a glimpse of knowing that this is the path you should follow. We like to call them the bridge of incidences that lead to the wish fulfilled, which is the ultimate realization of that which you are going towards. That's why we put a lot of focus on the end. We think from the end as though it's already done, and then the how part shows up. So this is the process of auto-suggestion as outlined in Think and Grow Rich in the auto-suggestion section. We call them affirmations, and you can use them to move towards a goal. You can also use them moment by moment, day by day, in order to move yourself into higher vibration. If something that's happening that is disharmonious with a state of well-being and abundance, use an affirmation that is completely opposite, the polar opposite of the thing that you are experiencing. Let's say you're having an argument or a disagreement with somebody and it's put you in quite the negative state. Quickly recognize, what is it that I want? And pivot to that moment now. I don't want this. Clearly, this is not what I want. What do I want? The opposite of that. I want harmony. I want peace. I want tranquility. I want calmness. Work your affirmation in that direction. I'm so happy and grateful now that I appreciate that people are different. That's what makes the world go round, in fact. I love knowing that I can have a point of view and have another person with a completely opposite point of view, and yet we still get along. We appreciate each other. We have mutual respect. I don't want everybody to be like me. In fact, that would make it a very boring place to live. I love knowing that there are differences. I love contrast. Contrast makes this world a very beautiful place to live in. Otherwise, it would be so bland. In fact, I'm beginning to appreciate contrast more than I am similarities. I love people who are different than me. I want to find out more about them. I'm naturally childlike, curious, now and forever. This person has many great qualities. Right now, we may not agree on this one particular facet. And at the same time, I recognize that there are millions and millions of things that we likely do agree on. And if we only focus on those, we'll likely come to that conclusion. So there's an example of how I use affirmations. I like to say, squeeze the orange. We're going to reach for it. We're going to milk it as much as we can, both for goal setting and for moving into a positive state, away from a state that we are not in harmony with. And that has been absolutely critical in the process of not only changing a state, but also in goal achievement. And you will not know this to be true unless you take action on it and do it just as I've described. There's a couple ways to do this. One is you can read about auto-suggestion in the book, Think and Grow Rich. If you want to grab a call with me, click on the link below and I will schedule a call with you. This is exactly what I do for my clients as I walk them through this process. It's a part of the coaching program. And because of that, we get amazing results in every area of life. Hopefully this has served you today.